Hello, Internet. It is I, the Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we're going to be talking about the Super Mario Brothers movie. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. This movie's about Mario, obviously. So, Mario, Nintendo's mascot. He's been their mascot for decades, generations at this point, since like the 80s. I mean, the first game, the Super Mario Brothers, basically saved the video game industry after the crash of 1983. Like Nintendo came in with the SNES, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, which was the Famicom in Japan, just the Americanized version of that, and it led to this whole new generation of gaming. And Mario, I mean, you got Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 2, 3, and then Super Mario World, and things just exploded from there. And a lot of these games are considered like some of the most iconic in history, some of the most revolutionary games, important games in history. Super Mario 64 is the most important game for 3D games. Like that game changed everything when it came out in 96. That was a real revolution right there. And then there's a whole bunch of other Super Mario games. I mean, I know Sunshine has a bit of a divisive reputation, but people still like that game to an extent. A lot of people love Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2. A lot of people like Super Mario Odyssey. A lot of people like Super Mario 3D World. And don't even get me started about the endless amount of spin-offs with Mario, like your Mario Karts, your Mario Parties, all the sports games, Mario Tennis, golf, baseball, strikers. There's a bunch of them. It's almost endless. The Mario and Sonic Olympic games, um, Paper Mario, that whole series. Uh, it's it's a lot. It's a whole lot, and I haven't even mentioned the Luigi games like Luigi's Mansion. That all the Donkey Kong games like Donkey Kong Country and all that. It's ooh, Mario has a big ass legacy. A big legacy that spanned decades. So this is definitely an example of brand name recognition because even if you don't play video games, you've at least heard of Mario's name. Like non-gamer, if you're a non-gamer, you know what Mario is. He's that recognizable. So, yeah, having a movie about him, obviously that's instant brand name recognition. So, that's an easy pro right there. Another pro is that this is from Illumination. And sure, while they get a lot of flack for the quality of their movies, and I kind of agree with that to an extent, but box office wise, of all the animated studios, they may just have the best track record out of all of them. And I'm not joking about that. I mean, going back to 2010 with the first Despicable Me, I mean, I made $500 million out of the gate. Hop made like a little less than 200 million on a budget of like 63 million, so that's fine. The Lorax 350, Despicable Me 2 almost a billion, like 975 million. Minions went past a billion, 1.1 billion. Secret Life of Pets 885 million. Sing 631 million. Despicable Me 3 billion. The Grinch 500 million. Secret Life of Pets 2 446 million, and that was considered a disappointment. So although the movie was really underwhelmed, it was, you guess you can call it a successful failure. So it still made a profit at the end of the day. And Sing 2 400 million, and then last year Minions: The Rise of Gru 900 million. So yeah, lots of success here. A whole lot of success. Okay. So obviously that track record, with that track record, I have to label Illumination as a pro because Minions 2 basically eliminated the claim that family audiences aren't going to the cinema anymore. I mean, well, technically, Sonic, I guess Sing 2 and Sonic Movie 2 definitely said, no, they are coming. They'll only come when they want to. But Minions 2 definitely just put the kibosh on that argument. That because Minions 2 made a stupid amount of cash. It destroyed, destroyed to Lightyear last year, which is something I didn't expect to happen, but it did. So yeah, Illumination, money wise, they are in an amazing place. So yeah, that's definitely a big pro right there. Just Illumination's financial track record. Another pro is that, video game movies, I mean, yeah, they have a long, long history of failure. And funny enough, the video game, genre, video game movie genre, it all started. It's not here. Why is it not here? Should be here. Ugh. I'll find it. It all started with Mario. Yeah. 30 years ago. Exactly 30 years ago. Where is it? Why is there so many Marios? Trying to find the right one. Here it is. The classic. A classic right here. This started the video game movie genre. It was Super Mario Brothers from 1993. It starred Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo, and Dennis Hopper. So this movie was very weird. It, as an adaptation, it is not the game. Not at all. It is so far from the game. It's absurd. I mean, this guy right here, like Dennis Hopper, that's Bowser. Can't you tell? Can't you tell that's Bowser? Yeah, like, big, yellow Koopa. No. Yeah, that's Bowser. It's beautiful. And all those things on top, those are Goombas. I think Toad is basically a weird hippie dude. This movie is weird. It's so bizarre. And although it has a cult following now, like people start to appreciate it now for how weird and strange it is. Financially, it did terrible. It only made like $20 million on like a budget of 42 million, which is really bad because this was expected to be a big hit. And after all, Mario was big. I mean, Mario's still big, but this was like right after like Mario 3, Super Mario World. So Mario was on a real high at this point. So I guess Hollywood thought, okay, because Mario, the games are big, then this movie has to be big too, but nobody watched the movie because why would anybody watch this? Like, it doesn't look anything like Mario. And it's just a bizarre disaster that people love now and appreciate now. But back then, yeah, everyone hated this movie. So, and because this movie failed so bad on Nintendo, they told Hollywood, they're just like, no, we're not working with you. it took until now for them to be open to allow their IPs to be used for movies. It took 30 years. That's how much of a negative effect this movie had. So, yeah. Yeah, it all started with the Super Mario Brothers movie. From 93. And ever since then, things have been well, things have been a little strange. I mean, trying to think of some main ones. There's like the Street Fighter movie from the 90s, which, like Mario, like a lot of people shat on back then, but now is seen in like a better light, a more goofy light. The first Mortal Kombat from 95, that was a bit of it's not a great movie, but I think it's pretty decent. It's definitely probably one of the better overall video game movies because although it lacks the violence of the games, at least has the tone and characters. It nailed that, and it was a hit. It was the first one to actually make money. The sequel, Annihilation, we don't talk about. And then ever since, it's been really up and down. I mean, Lara Croft Tomb Raider was a big hit when it came out. The sequel, no. Nobody watched the sequel. Then there's some others. The Pokemon, the first movie, I guess that counts. That made money. The other Pokemon movies, not so much after that. The Prince of Persia movie, no one even remembers that. Um, this counts, like, this list technically counts like board game. Actually, I think I can look it up separately. List of video game movies. I know there's a Wikipedia article all about it. I just gotta find a list of video game movies. Come on, yes, the list of films based off video games. Yes, let's go. Got a whole list. So we just it's like Mario, Double Dragon, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, then Annihilation, then Lara Croft Tomb Raider. The Resident Evil movies, they weren't good, but they made cash. You could definitely say that. There's also so those did okay. Silent Hill, that did fine. Um Hitman did meh, did okay. Max Payne did eh. Trying to think. Need for Speed didn't do too hot in the States, but it did better, a lot better overseas. Rampage did fine, I guess. Warcraft. Actually, I'll mention Warcraft later because I have. We're trying to talk about like the successful stuff, like pre-Renaissance stuff. But then like there was also a bunch of failures. A whole bunch of failures. I already mentioned Mario. I already mentioned Street Fighter. Well, it did better overseas. Double Dragon was a bomb. Wing Commander, bomb. House of the Dead, disaster. Hello in the Dark, Doom, Blood Rain, DOA, Dead or Alive. A movie I love, but did awful. In the Name of the King, A Dungeon Siege Tale. Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li, where they had Chun-Li portrayed by a white girl. So, ugh. Silent Hill Revelation, that flopped. What else? Hitman Agent 47, that was just a disaster. um, uh, let's see. Warcraft is a really interesting one because technically, okay, technically, it is the biggest video game movie of all time worldwide. In the States, bomb, huge bomb. Only made like 47 million total. That is terrible. That is so bad. It's unbelievably bad. And then also like I guess the Angry Birds movie that was successful, but Assassin's Creed, that's a movie. Oh, that did bad. That's a movie I never want to think about ever again. And then Ratchet and Clank. I mean, no one watched that movie at all. That movie just bombed completely. I mean, the game did better. People actually liked the game. Nobody liked the movie. And the weird thing is, like the movie and the game were kind of linked. They kind of, it's like how the Street Fighter movie had a game based off that movie. So it was literally a game based off a movie based off a game, and that's what happened with Ratchet and Clank. Game based off a movie based off a game, and neither went very well. So yeah, it's just ugh. Yeah. So the video game and majority of these movies weren't even good. So yeah, the video game movie genre. I guess there was also the Tomb Raider movie from like 5 years ago. That did real in the States, but did better overseas. But the sequel, as you know, is dead. So yeah, that should tell you all you need to know. So yeah, pre 2019, the video game movie genre has had its highs and lows, but quality wise, it was all like just in the muck. But that started to change in 2019 with a movie called Pokemon Detective Pikachu. This thing. People were excited about this movie because it looked a whole lot better than most video game movies at the time. It looked like it had like they actually, gave a damn. And people watched it and were like, you know what? this isn't bad. This is actually all right. And the movie did very well financially. It made like over 400 million. So, yeah. So, people were like, "Wait a minute. Could things change? Could video game movies actually be good? Can they be watchable?" And then that continued with the Sonic movie in 2020, a movie that was like heading straight towards disaster. But obviously, we all know what happened with the trailer. There was a lot of complaining, lots of criticism, and the studio actually listened to the criticism rather than ignore it. And they decided, you know what? We're going to change Sonic's design. We're going to delay it. And they did. And the movie came out. And people were like, yeah, this is good. And it made more money. It broke the video game. Well, actually, Detective Pikachu broke the record domestically, and then Sonic broke the record right after it. It would have made more money if it wasn't for COVID, but still, 300 million, 90 million budget, success. So things were heading in the right direction with video game movies. And I forgot. Oh, I forgot to mention one of the movies that were if Final Fantasy Spirits Within. That was a big old disaster. It caused the whole closure of a company. Oh, I think it was like Square Pictures. Yeah, Square Pictures literally killed the company. So that should tell you all you need to know. um, but yeah, like so you got Pokemon, Detective Pikachu, and you got the Sonic movie. And then after that, I mean, what even came out? I forgot. Yeah, Monster Hunter was ignore that. Mortal Kombat that had to deal with HBO Max, and for when it came out, it did fine. It did okay, but yeah, I wouldn't call that a hit. So let's just ignore 2021 altogether. 2022, Uncharted. Okay, Uncharted. It was not a great movie. I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's pretty bleh. But financially, it did great. It did really good, which is kind of crazy. I thought for sure this movie was gonna tank, but it just didn't. It opened with 44 million, made like 148 million domestically, 400 million worldwide. So that's a hit, no doubt about it. And then 2 months later, Sonic movie 2. Because of the success of the first Sonic movie, more people watched the second movie. Go figure. And it made a lot more. Opened with like 70 something million, $72 million last year, and made 190 million domestic, 400 million worldwide. Domestically, this is by far and away the best performance for a video game movie. So, quality wise, box office wise, things are going great. I mean, you still have some bombs in there, some underperformers like Monster Hunter and the Resident Evil. Was it Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City? That weird thing. So yeah, but at this point, things are going in the right direction with video game movies. So yeah, and with this, I mean, judging by the early numbers, yeah, video game movies are making more money than ever. So, from financially speaking, to a lesser extent, critically, video game movies are in a probably the healthiest place they've ever been. So that's definitely a pro in my book. So, video game movies now, from 2019 to now, a lot better than it was decades ago. So I would label that as a pro. Another pro is that this is literally the first family movie that's come out since Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. I think. Yeah, yeah, it is. That was the last family movie we got. Puss in Boots 2 back in December. So it's literally been like 4 months. It's crazy. um. So yeah, and the next family movie that's coming out is The Little Mermaid, and that's not till late May for Memorial Day. So this movie has plenty of time to play out, and there's like no direct competition at all for until then. So yeah, that's great. That's great for the movie. I mean, sure there are movies coming out, but like the rest of April has got nothing on this. This is going to crush every other April movie. I just know it. So yeah, and like all the other like March movies that came out before it, I don't see them putting a dent on this movie's box office. So I think competition is just nothing. Nothing will stop this movie. So competition wise is just nothing. So that's a big old pro right there. No competition, no direct competition, none of that. This movie is basically just all on its own. So that's a pro. Another pro I can think of is the voice cast. Now, for animated movies, I don't like going over the voice cast because the voice cast is kind of irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. But sometimes animated movies can put like heavy emphasis on the voice, on the celebrity cast, and this definitely does that. Because I mean, they got a really strong lineup here of actors. You got Chris Pratt, Anna Taylor Joy, Charlie Day, Jack Black, Keegan Michael Key, Seth Rogen. Those are the main ones. I mean, let's see. You got Chris Pratt. He's the most controversial one. Like when the when the cast for this movie was announced, like back it was September 2021. Oh man, people had a field day with those announcements. People just couldn't believe what they were hearing, what they were seeing. They're just like, what is going on with this? And Chris Pratt as Mario was like the most controversial of them all. Because like with him, I mean, sure, you could understand from like a Hollywood perspective why they would cast him as Mario. That's the main character. I mean, the dude's a superstar. I mean, from like the Lego movie, like Guardians of the Galaxy, Jurassic World, yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy movies and Jurassic World movies, yeah, dude is known worldwide. People know who this dude is. You can definitely say he is a movie star. So you understand that, but I don't know, like when it comes to Mario, one of the most iconic characters in all of game, maybe the most iconic character in all of gaming. Yeah, Chris Pratt was not the first choice a lot of people had for Mario. Like, I don't think there's a single person on this planet who was like, who should voice Mario? Star-Lord. That guy. That's a Mario. Like, I don't think anyone was thinking that before they officially announced it. And so people like were just like, what is this? And then people heard him in the trailers and people just like, this isn't my Mario. I don't know who this is. I don't know who this imposter is, but this is not Mario. This is just Chris Pratt as Chris Pratt. um Apparently he is better in the actual movie. Apparently the trailer just happened to have like the worst lines. I don't know. But yeah, he's like the big thing. Like there's been a lot of discourse surrounding Chris Pratt as Mario. And just Chris Pratt in general, just a lot of dumb Twitter stuff. Twitter hates that man. I don't want to go into it. It's not worth it. But yeah, Chris Pratt as Mario. You got Anna Taylor Joy as Peach, Princess Peach. She's been in a lot of stuff recently. The Split. The Witch, Split, Glass, New Mutants, which nobody watched. No one was gonna watch it anyway because it was like 2 weeks after theaters reopened. The Menu last year, which did okay, did solid enough. So yeah, so there's that. There's that. Who else? Okay, so we got shoot. Press the wrong thing. Okay. All right. Charlie Day as Luigi. This was an announcement. People were like, you know what? I can see that with the decision to have him as Luigi. I mean, people like love Charlie Day. I mean, from his stuff from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, some of his movie stuff. It's like Horrible Bosses, Pacific Rim. He was also in the Lego movie with Chris Pratt. Uh, yeah, I mean, the dude's very well known, and people were pretty, I wouldn't say super pumped, but like, they were like, yeah, I can see this with Charlie Day as Luigi, but people were legitimately pumped for Jack Black as Bowser because it's Jack Black. He's awesome. Like, the dude has done voiceover work before. He's Poe in the Kung Fu Panda movies. He does a great job with that. Not sure, but this dude's been a whole lot of stuff, like a lot of stuff. But it's like his main claim to fame. I think was it Shallow Hal? I think it was that. It may have been Shallow Hal. I think before that, I don't know about Cable. It was definitely Shallow Hal. And then School of Rock, which is now 20 years old, that was a hit for him. He was in Ice Age. He voiced an I never knew that. That okay, that ooh, that's a I okay. Let's just move on from that. I think in Anchorman he was kind of a cameo, so I'm not counting that. Shark Tale, probably one of DreamWorks' worst movies. King Kong, the 2005 version, I thought he was good in that. Nacho Libre, that's a movie I love to death. I will defend that movie to the very end. I thought that movie was a hit, and people like it. Let's see, you got The Holiday, Kung Fu Panda, there it is, Poe. You got Tropic Thunder, and then he went away for a while, but then he came back with Vengeance. The Goosebumps, which did all right. The Jumanji movies, which did very, very well financially. You got The House of a Clock in its walls. Is that supposed to? Yeah, Clock in its walls. That did solid business, I'd say. And now we're here with the Super Mario Brothers movie where he's Bowser, and everyone was like, he's gonna be great as Bowser. And I saw him in the trailers. I'm like, this is what I want. Yes, this is perfect. And the dude himself is very enthusiastic about being Bowser. It's awesome. Jack Black is the biggest W out of anyone here. um, you got Keegan Michael Key as Toad. Keegan Michael Key is known for Key and Peele, and mainly like the iconic, absolutely iconic, classic sketch, The Substitute Teacher. That is a sketch that I think I've seen at least once a year at this point. I've seen many times, but it never gets old. It is comedy gold right there. All right. And he's been a whole lot of stuff, mainly as some like minor stuff, but he's still there. He has a presence. So, yeah, been a lot of stuff. So, yeah, I'd say, you know, I mean, yeah, it's late. I'm losing my train of thought, but yeah, having him here is good. And then we got Seth Rogen, who's done a lot of voiceover work in the past. He's been a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff, very well known. He was also an Anchorman. He was. I know Anchorman had like a bunch of cameos in it, but I didn't think this was like pre Knocked Up, or I guess pre 40-year-old Virgin, because I know he was in that. And Knocked Up, he had like a main role in that with Katherine Heigl. Mainly, I feel like that was his real breakout role. And then there's also Superbad. Yeah, he voiced in Kung Fu Panda and Horn Hears a Who. There's Pineapple Express. I guess Zack and Miri make a porno. That did okay. Monsters vs. Aliens. Green Hornet did okay-ish. He was all. Just trying to see what else. This Is the End. Neighbors. The Sausage Party. Yeah, recently this has been going great, but he's still a very recognizable name. So I say having all these recognizable names in this movie will definitely helps it out, publicity wise. I still think the biggest W is easily Jack Black, but yeah, having all these big celebrities voicing in this movie definitely gonna lead to more eyeballs on it. So I say that's a pro. The voice cast pro here. Another pro is that it's Easter weekend, and Easter, it didn't really become big, like really big, until like 2015, I think. I mean, you could have like a decently big movie like from time to time, like say, I don't what else, what shoot, like a Clash of the Titans from like 2010 that did pretty decent, even though the movie was hot garbage. But I gotta find like Easter. I guess I'll find it. Okay, so Easter didn't become big until this movie right here, Furious 7. Yeah, Furious 7, 2015. That was like the first blockbuster that was like, okay, we're opening Easter. And it worked out amazingly. Opened with $147 million opening weekend. So people look, Hollywood looked at that and was like, we need to release more movies on Easter. We need to. And more movies over time released on that weekend. It took advantage of that weekend. There's Batman v Superman, which opened even higher. Granted, it fell much harder, but still opened very high of like 166 million opening weekend, which is a very spectacular number. And then there was Fate of the Furious or Fast 8 in 2017. That opened with 98 million. Then after that, things kind of slowed down a lot. um, I believe in 2018 it was Ready Player One, which opened like 40 something million, which was fine. 2019 was like Curse of La Llorona, which was like 26 million. Nothing in 2020, obviously. 2021, you got Godzilla versus Kong, which like on the surface didn't open great, but for the context of when it came out, this was like stupidly high numbers, like 32 million. That just decimated all the movies that came before it. That was the first movie that really started to get people back into the cinema at like a high-ish level. So that's important. And then last year I believe was Fantastic Beasts 3. That was a bomb. But so Easter has become way bigger in the last decade than ever before. So having the Super Mario Brothers movie come out on Easter makes sense, especially because it's a family movie. Family movies really benefit from Easter, especially for Good Friday, because all kids are out of school. No kids at school. So they are free to watch this movie on Friday. And that's going to lead to like a huge boost for the weekend. And sure, it's going to crumble after that, but Monday, it will, usually Monday is very good for family movies, like after Easter. And like that whole week is like a really nice week. Yeah, the timing of this movie is perfect. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So yeah, the release of like releasing it on Easter, big old pro right there. Another pro is that this movie's releasing on Wednesday. And as you already know, it released on Wednesday. This doesn't happen too often. It used to, like, in the past, but now they kind of stopped. I'm not sure why. Maybe they think it's a little too inconvenient. I don't know. Or maybe they think people only really go to the movies on Friday and they kind of just say whatever to like all the other days of the week. I don't know. But yeah, releasing this on a Wednesday. They did this like really late in the game, like I think like a month or so ago. But it's actually there's a smart strategy to this. And that's because you release it on Wednesday, you can build momentum going towards the weekend. So you have Wednesday, then you have Thursday, build some buzz, build some box office numbers, and then Friday is like the big day because it's Good Friday. And then you have like a big 5 day number for the whole long weekend. That's what they're doing. And judging by early numbers, that's what's happening. So, yeah. Releasing this like on a 5 day period is strategical. And I think it'll work out. Definitely. At least like because because from early numbers, it's doing amazing on Wednesday. I'm seeing numbers like 26 million on Wednesday, which is insane for like a midweek movie opening midweek nowadays. That's crazy. See, like that Wednesday number is going to fuel the rest of the weekend. Like all the it's going to fuel Thursday, is going to fuel Easter weekend, and it's going to be great. So yeah, releasing this on a Wednesday is turning out to be a very smart decision. So that's a pro right there. The Wednesday release. Trying to think of some other pros. I guess another pro is that its audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is very good. I believe it's very strong. Yes. Audience score is at 96%, which shows that word of mouth is very good from like general audiences. Critic score, Not so much. I will discuss that when we get to the cons, but I don't think it's gonna. I don't even think it's gonna have an impact at this point. It's kind of pointless to even talk about it. But I'll talk about it later. But yeah, audience score very good, very very good. So that's a pro. And let me check the. I'm pretty sure the cinema score should be up for the movie. Let me see. Cinema score pop up. Okay, so both Air, I forgot to mention it. I don't think Air that had the cinema score. I don't think it was ready yet. But the Super Mario Bros. Movie got an A cinema score. So word of mouth, real good. Air got the same thing. So both those movies are really benefiting from strong word of mouth. So I feel that strong word of mouth is gonna really help the movie thrive the whole long weekend. So yeah, word of mouth, very good. What did the Super Mario Brothers movie have? Did it have a cinema score? It did. It got a B plus, which is a lot higher than I thought it would be. I thought that'd be a C at least, but no, that's a B plus. That's from '93. That's weird, but yeah, this new Super Mario Brothers movie, A cinema score. So word of mouth seems to be very good. So that's pro. I think I mentioned everything. I mentioned Illumination, the fact there's no competition for this movie, the Wednesday release, opening on Easter, the brand name, the video game stuff. I think I covered all the major things. Okay. So cons. There's no real cons. I think this movie's gonna be a smash hit, but I might as well mention just because its critic score is not good. It's at 54%. That's not terrible, but that's not great. That's not something you brag about. But I don't think the critic score matters here. This is obviously a critic proof movie, judging by early numbers. And apparently the reviews are like kind of getting shit on themselves. A lot of people are like really like, because I've heard from people who have watched the movie like this movie's pretty good. It's like, why are critics shitting on it so much? Like it's kind of, apparently I've heard some weird reviews out there. Like people were saying like the movie's all like confusing and stuff, and like I think someone called it offensive. I'm like, what? What is going on with these reviews? It's just so weird. I'm just with these reviewers. I'm just like, what are you expecting out of a Mario movie? Mario the games, they're not exactly known for their stories. Okay, they are known for gameplay, not story. Like if you're expecting like this deep film, why are you here? Why are you here? Go somewhere else. But obviously, like critics score it's worthless here, so it's not gonna have any impact. So, but I might as well just mention it. But it's like it's the most minor con imaginable in this situation. So yeah, uh, and that's really it. So opening weekend, well, I guess 5 day weekend. I've been seeing like the main number I've been seeing is 125 million for the 5 day weekend. I think this movie could do better than that. I mean, 125 million for the 5 day, that's still great. But judging by its opening day number and judging by word of mouth, I think this movie can go even higher than that. It could go way higher. It can make stupid money. So I'm gonna say for the 3 day weekend, 90 to 100 million. And for the 5 day weekend, 130 to 150 million. I think it can hit that. I think it's achievable at this point. I think this movie is going to be a big money hit this weekend, no doubt about it. And it's total, I don't know, man. 300 plus million. So I'm going like way past like 300 plus million. This is going to crush Sonic Movie 2, which kind of stings because really like Sonic Movie 2. But yeah, that record is going to get decimated very quickly. And this will be the biggest video game movie of all time domestically, worldwide. It will be number 1. No doubt about that. So, yeah, this movie is going to be I guess 2023's first big blockbuster. I mean, we've had like some lower tier blockbusters like a John Wick 4 and Creed 3, Scream 6, and stuff like that, but we haven't had a big money blockbuster yet, and this will be it. This will be it. It will do what Ant-Man 3 didn't and actually, exceed high expectations. So, yeah. And that's really it. So that's it for today. There's one movie to talk about, but that's not coming out till Friday, so I'll talk about it then. That's Paint. And then that's it for the weekend. So, yeah, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share the whole drill. We'll check out more videos like this. Got playlists on the homepage, all previous um, prediction videos I made this year or the past few years. If you want to watch any of those, you can go right ahead. And there's also the canceled series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. So Mario movie, I've covered it twice on this channel. Twice, right? Yes, twice. The first time was episode 119. I talked about it alongside Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. So this movie was supposed to come out last year, last December, but then it got moved to April. And Puss in Boots 2 got moved to December. That was supposed to come out in September, but then got moved to December. And yeah, the rest is history, pretty much. So, yeah, that was the first time I talked about it. I was sad it wasn't come out in 2022. I was so ready to have like a Mario movie and a Sonic movie come out the same year. I was so hyped. So when I heard that delay, I was crushed. I was really crushed. And then the next time I talked about it was episode 180, where I talked about how it moved up by 2 days, moving on Wednesday. So instead of the 7th, like Friday, it's coming out on the 5th, Wednesday. So yeah, I wanted to talk about that. So yeah. Talked about it twice for those two episodes. If you want to watch those two episodes or any other episodes I've done on the channel, I know there's one I have to do to like what episode 185. I gotta do that. But there's 184 episodes you can watch. You want to binge them all from beginning to now, I highly encourage you to do that, so go do it. There's also box office recaps, so if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made on the channel. The March recap will come out April. It'll come out next week. All right. So just stay tuned for that. It's gonna be a long one. It's gonna be a lot to discuss. it's it's gonna be a doozy. So stay tuned. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made on the channel, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.